looking back, I don't ever think, well, man, that guy. I just look at these guys and I know the hard work and the dedication it goes through. I know the stress factor. I always hated this with 2 weeks out. The anticipation of like, okay, who is going to challenge? Because remember, I was second before I was first, and
sure,
everyone always wanted to come gain that position and stand next to Coleman and have that opportunity. And I went through all the guys that were threatening me between Gustavo and Dexter and Gunther and I mean, everybody, Chris Cormier. And I mean, we went through it all. So that stress, I don't miss it all.
Yeah, I don't blame you. All right, here, let's get to the current Olympia lineup. And obviously Hadi Choopan, or Choopan is what I'm being told. Milos told me is the right way to pronounce it. Hadi Choopan is the reigning Mr. Olympia. As an Olympia champ, a former Olympia champ, he's going into his first title defense. What advice would you give him? In other words, what should he be looking to do? Do you think that he should change up his game plan from last year? I mean, what as a defending champ, what do you have to do coming back for your first title defense?
Well, you just have to repeat. And I think, his whole thing is he wants to be sharper from the backside because the guy who positioned himself in second last year with Lunsford, I mean, he's so dominant from the back. And, it's kind of like a front back show last year. And that's where, I mean, it was just, I think Hadi just had more shots. But I felt the door was left open last year for Hadi to land in that position. I mean, Rami, we all sat here weeks out. I don't know if I did your show last year, but I mean, I don't know anyone that didn't think after seeing the pictures of Rami at 6 weeks out or whatever it was, didn't think that he was going to be the champion.
Right.
And I mean, he fell to fifth. Brandon came in a little too full. I mean, he was returning. I mean, he had been second before he won. He kind of left the door open and then everything fell in between. Walker was there to pick up some pieces and move up. And obviously, Derek coming in, being a smaller stature guy, was able to nail conditioning and out-condition guys and have that roundness to be able to be pushing Hadi, and Hadi finally broke through. I mean, Hadi had been knocking at that door for years, but I think he needs to be a little sharper from behind and carry the same size because I felt like he came in a little bigger, but in that size advantage, he sacrificed a little of the crisp conditioning that they're going to be looking for this year when he turns around.
Right.
Can the front match the back?
Right.
I mean, looking at that shot, it's a lot of detail, Dave,
Yeah. What mistakes do you potentially see a Hadi Choopan possibly making, and what would you tell him to avoid? Because, sometimes guys try to recreate the wheel.
Yeah. Coming in bigger, which we all did. I say this, I'm going to beat it till it's just everyone understands. We all want it to be bigger, and bigger is not better.
No, especially on a frame like his, right?
He's limited because of the height and the width, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's all about refinement, but the problem is, Dave, is you have, I don't know if it's 12 months, 11 months, 10 months, whatever it is between shows. I forget when they had the show last year. If it was
in December, so he had a little less time. Yeah.
Well, a little less time, but that time is a lot of time to pack on 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 pounds of muscle.
Right.
Because you think, oh, I got this guy coming, and when you look at proportion guys like Derek, and then you look at Nick Walker, who's just monstrous, and you have someone like Samson who's coming on as a real threat this year, who seems to just be growing from show to show. Man, like, how can you not? That's you try to say, okay, if I can just get my arms bigger, but keep the waist smaller. That's the hardest part is, the waist has to stay small.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's impossible to do as you get bigger.